Good afternoon. I am the preacher, Arthur Nathaniel Bulunga, and this afternoon I'm gonna teach you about economic corruption. I'm gonna teach you about economic corruption. Now, there is an ongoing issue of gender based violence. And the problem with gender based violence is that it's an issue where not the focus is not based on both sex, male and female. It's an issue where it's a one-way traffic where it's directed towards females. And I have to say, I can say that when I look at gender based violence, and from my experience, it's real when you talk about domestic violence. It's real when you talk about people who are abusing children. And then there are some cases that are not real. Hence, I've titled my topic for today economic corruption. Now, I was working for a bank, a financial company around Gauteng province. Then I got to stay at Soshanguve, and where I was renting, there was a lady that was renting the room that was next to mine. And this lady, I could sense one night that she was standing in front of my door, and I did not open the door, so she went back to her room. And then she made a comment saying if I left an ID copy of myself in my room, she could take it to the police and make an accusation for sexual harassment. So that case she was trying to build was not real. And if she goes to the police, she mentioned that I will be punished because I will at least spend 2 years in prison or jail while they were busy with investigation and I didn't do anything. I will still go to prison or jail. So it gets me thinking, are these gender-based violent cases real? Yes, some of them, more especially the domestic violence. And now we are facing people who are sex workers. They were involved in a one night stand, and after the one night stand, they wake up in the morning and ask for 5,000 rand. And you find that the person they are asking 5,000 rand from does not have the 5,000 rand. They went home with him because So it's a big problem because in the morning they request 5,000 rand, and then you find that the person is actually a student. He was spending NSFAS money, which he was supposed to use to pay for tuition fees, hostel, and for his basic needs. And he used that money to buy alcohol for someone at a tavern or restaurant, wherever. And then because they are well dressed, you saw a young man who is well dressed and you thought that they have money, they go home with them and they request for money. And when they do not give them the money, they go to the police. And these cases, they are cases that cause this gender-based violence, because now you have a student that does not have 5,000 rand or whichever amount you requested, and they also don't want to go to jail, and now they have to think of something to get out of that situation, because they now know that they are being blackmailed, and they need to think of something to get out of that situation. So males are also facing gender-based violence, because now you find this young man in a situation where he needs to come up with money or go to jail. And if that person does not have money and does not want to go to jail, ask yourself, what action is that person going to take? So blackmail is also part of the cause of gender-based violence. And now there are sex workers also who, after going with someone who owns a company, what was supposed to be a once-off payment, they now want to be part of the payroll of the company that the person is owning. And now the companies are closing some of them because of blackmail. They don't want to pay someone who does not work for the company, because now they are being blackmailed to be part of the payroll, which is also another contributor of this gender-based violence. And although we call them gender-based violence, some of them are crimes against men. They are crimes against males. So the main focus were people looking to them as gender-based violence, while we are actually suffering from blackmail. And there was a time where I was working for a company, and I was there by Oshu at the border gate, and someone looked at me and said, it's possible that they can see me on television one day. So if someone sleeps with me, and then when they see me on TV, they will go to the police so they can get a payment. So I look back at my life and I ask myself, are some of these things real? are some of them real? Economic corruption. And the law firms that are representing these people, when they interview them and they can hear that these people are making false accusations, and they see that they can still win the case anyway, they take you to court so that the law firm can make money, not because the person is correct, but for the law firm to make money. So you find that lawyers are beneficiaries of this thing. Reality TV shows are beneficiaries of these things. So it is very, very harmful to the economy, where now companies will be having people who are not working on the company but are getting payment. They are part of payrolls because of these people who are sex workers and claim to be sexually harassed, where students are now, some who could have been doctors, engineers, some who could have been business owners, they are now arrested because they couldn't give someone NSFAS money. So we need to look at gender-based violence as a two-way traffic. It's supposed to be a two-way traffic. It's not only the females who are being harassed, there are males who are being harassed. So we need to look at it in a two-way traffic form. And if we look at it in that form, then we can find the cause of gender-based violence. And personally, I think that blackmail is one of the major contributors of gender-based violence. Blackmail is a major contributor. So there are people who are blackmailing someone who does not have what they want and they don't want to go to jail, and that causes someone to do the unthinkable. So we need to stop this issue, more especially fight blackmail, because people who were not gonna harm someone are harming someone because they don't want to be blackmailed. So we need to look at it in a two-way traffic form. It's not only the females who are being abused. It's not only the females who are being abused. So we need to look into that, and we say blackmail is a major contributor, and the economy is not gonna be built on corruption. You're not gonna be part of a payroll of a company, and we're not gonna give you NSFAS money because you went home with a student thinking that they had money. So NSFAS money is used to pay for tuition fees. We need to look at the blackmail factor, economic corruption. Reality TV shows are beneficiaries of these people who are making these allegations. So I do agree that there are gender-based violences, more especially when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to abuse against children. So we need to specifically identify the areas that we can talk about as gender-based violence. God bless you. I thank you.